All right, in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the most valuable learning lessons that I have learned going from $0 to $20 million worth of real estate in my 20s, by the way. So if I can save you from some of the mistakes I've made, hope this video does that for you. So listen to my failures, understand how they happened, and then, you know what they always say, a smart man learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you the most valuable mistakes I've made so that you guys can save yourself and be a wise man, not just a smart man. So with that, let's get into it. Firstly, we're going to go recap the triangle here. So as you guys know, this is part 6 of 6 on how to go from $0 to $100,000 a year using and working with real estate. So with that, we covered so much on this triangle. If you guys haven't already seen the other episodes, I'd start with those so that you can understand it. But I'm going to go in depth on each one here. So the first thing we've talked about, how to not become overwhelmed by options. Really, the biggest thing for me when I started was I started by reading books. And so when we talk about getting overwhelmed by options over here, right, I'm focusing on this section right here. So when we talk about getting overwhelmed by options or creating a vision or creating a strategy and creating a buy box, you can do all that through a book, and I did. And so the problem was that I was picturing everything as a hammer. And so I can tell you I've lost and left so much money on the table because, for example, I was just using the BRRRR strategy, or I was just using a wholesale strategy. And now that I've learned of other strategies like lease option contracts and creative financing on the front end, coupled with lease option on the back end, there's just so many ways I could have made so much more money and saved myself so much headache. And so how did I learn about these strategies? Well, man, I can read a book and go all the information, but having a coach has exponentially increased my journey. And so I can tell you that without a coach, the most I ever bought was 4 deals in a year. And some of them, one of them I lost 68 grand on. So not great results, right? With the coach the next year, 22 deals. So just ripping off and duplicating the coach's knowledge to be able to do deals was a game changer for me, right? And now the problem was that coach was very focused on one strategy. So that's cool. I learned how to wholesale and I learned how to BRRRR. Right. And so those two things were that was awesome. But if I would have had a coach that knew how to do all of these other things, then each deal I would have been able to do even more, right? I could have squeezed way more juice out of the fruit that was given to me if I just would have known and had a better juice squeezer. But that coach didn't know at the time. And so, you are only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And so that's why it's really important to have a coach that's just an absolute killer. Okay. And whether that's me or somebody else, at this point, if you've made it this far in the video, I want to ask you, if you're still on the fence or you're still not taking action, schedule a call with me and we will deep dive exactly where you're at, build out that roadmap so you can get to where you want to go. Okay. And you can do that by shortening your learning curve through the clarity here. Okay. So that's part 1 is the clarity, and the lesson is really just get a coach that knows what the heck they're doing. Okay. Section 2 here. Okay. As I built the portfolio, we go into the money piece here. And so I'll give you my most valuable lesson. I think this will be instrumental for you guys is when I'm doing a deal. So talking about here, I'm going to go down to here. So usually when this was a huge unlock for me when I was scaling back in the day, I didn't have any money, right? But what I was doing is I was taking 20% as a down payment, and then I was doing 80% from a bank. And then I would improve the asset's value. Once it's worth more, I would refinance it and I would pay back my private money lender. And so initially I was just buying it 100% from a private money lender that was financing things for me, or a bank. And then when I realized I could get and borrow this 20% from a private money lender, well, that allowed me to buy not just one property, right? But I was able to do this, and that turned around and that let me buy 4x at once. And so that gave me the leverage. And I was able to do that, number one, not by swinging the hammer, So at first, just to let you know, I was doing this with the financing wasn't allowing me to do multiple at once. And also I was literally the guy. There's your hammer. Maybe it's an anchor, maybe it's a hammer. But I was literally the guy that was swinging the hammer, doing the stuff at the house. And so my first house took me 6 months to do. Not a good use of my time. And you may be sitting here and you may be like, well, I know how to do that. Well, I'm still telling you, all of my students that are contractors, we teach them how to buy deals deep enough so that you can do 4 at once. And so really the key here is being able to do multiple projects at once, because you buy the property right. And then we also finance it right so that you have the capital in order to do all of this. And so that allows you to have 100% financed properties with none of your own money, which allows you to do more and more and more and more and more at once. And that was the biggest learning lesson for me. Once I learned this, I went from doing 4 in a year to doing 22 in a year. And so that was an exponential results, which led to, I mean, I don't know the math on it, but I'm just going to say 500K plus in equity or cash. And so that is a result that can absolutely happen to you. But here's the deal, guys. If you are sitting here and you don't know how to do this, let me ask you this. What is it costing you not knowing this information? Honest question. What is it costing you if you knew how to generate 500K in cash, or even just 100K, right? What is it? I'm telling you, it's costing you 500,000 a year. You can change your life, absolutely, if you get around the right people in the right rooms. It's proximity is power, but you got to get around them. And so again, if you made it this far in the video, like, reach out for help, whether it's me, whether it's someone else. Like, man, if you made it this far, you probably are going to jive with me, and I'd love to help you. So this is what I'm so passionate about, is helping people do these kind of deals and change their financial freedom of their life, because I've seen what happened in my family, and it's totally possible for you. So that's lesson number 2. All right. Lesson number 3. So we've covered the money. Now we're going to cover this last part, which is the deals. Okay. So the deals. Man, that's a little messy. All right. So as far as the deals go, I'm just going to scroll down here. The best thing that has ever happened to me was that I have developed relationships with people. And this business is a relationship business. And so what do I mean by that? There are relationships for agents that have brought me multiple deals. And so just reaching out and helping an agent, having them know that you can close on time, well, they don't just bring you one deal. They can, but that can lead to a constant flow of deals. So repeat business, actually that's the wrong way. Repeat business. You guys love my drawing, don't you? Repeat business is what will change your business. So you can do that with agents. You can do that with contacts within your phone. Like literally, we've got a code violation guy at the city. Then that's a really good relationship that we've had that's brought us multiple deals. I've had relationships that I go with guys at church that have sent me and brought me multiple deals because they know I'm here to help and serve people. And so having these people and creating a farm of relationships. Now, it may not happen at once, but essentially moving from a hunter to a farmer. Okay? Hunters eat what they kill. They go out there, they get a deal, and then that's done. But farmers will plant the crop, right? They'll plant it, they'll water it. There's your watering can. It's huge. They'll plant it, they'll water it, and they'll let it grow, and then they'll harvest it. And so within doing this, that is creating, farmers create relationships with people that bring them multiple deals. And that can be life-changing if you just create the right relationships with the right people. And so in my book, I call this MIRs, or your most important relationships. Okay. And it's the people that are consistently doing deals in your market. That's who you want to create as the MIRs or the MERS in your market, so that it can really help you elevate your game so that you have consistent deal flow all the time from repeat people. And the only way to do that is to make sure that you actually do what you say you're going to do, which is why, again, we say, hey, get set up with financing, get set up with somebody who knows what they're doing so they can help you, right? It's really hard to know everything if you've never done it. You're only going to learn so much from books. I love them. I wrote the book, for Pete's sake. And so everything's in there for free. But if you want to move faster, that's where you really want to get someone on your side. And so again, you've been watching it this long. I would encourage you to schedule a free strategy call with me. If you guys want to be a part of a community called the 7-Figure Mastermind, where we go over all of these things, you have all the education you need, you have all the support you need. We've got weekly coaching calls so you can come bring your deals to there. And then we've also got a ton of other free resources so it can really help you speed up your learning curve and just do deals in real estate. So with that, that is the 3 biggest learning lessons. Now, the last thing I'm just gonna let you know is this triangle works way beyond real estate. So one of the things that we cover in the program is creating leverage within your life. And so we've covered the highest performing habits. We've covered how to get started in real estate by all the things that we need to do. And then lastly, it's like, okay, after you start closing your own deals, well, then you move into a business owner, and that's where we can start to unlock leverage in your life. And so that's whole nother course that's in the mastermind that I go over, which is like how to use capital better, how to use labor, how to work with people and have employees doing the things for you, how to use technology so that you don't have to do everything. And then how to use media. So this YouTube channel is an example of that, but how to use the 4 types of leverage to really unlock your life. So if you guys have enjoyed this series, let me know in the comments, drop a like, drop a comment. And if you are seriously considering getting started in real estate or expanding the speed of what you're doing in real estate, I highly recommend schedule a call with me, join the mastermind, and we will scale so much faster and together. So with that, love you guys. I will see you in the next one.